Hello everyone, my name is Rohit Kumar Asre and this is my submission video for Salesforce Impact Hackathon. Now, my project name is Salesforce Developer Toolkit and the theme of this hackathon is social impact. So let's see how this toolkit, how this project can impact socially. So as a Salesforce developer, we have to work on so many things every single day, and now Salesforce is moving to low code platform or almost no code platform. We have Omni Studio, so there are lots of projects out there with Velocity, Omni Studio these days, and we have to work with Omni Studio. If you're working with Omni Studio, there are highly chances that you are working with integration procedures, Omni scripts, data raptors, flex cards. So all these things, all these elements basically use JSON as an input as well as output. Okay, so you're playing with a lot of JSON data here. Also, every single project has pretty much API integration, so you have to integrate third parties, so you are definitely working with APIs there. So again, there you're using JSON, you're playing with JSON basically. Also, every single project has a lot of complex mechanisms, so there you have to use LWC or Apex. So a lot of time when you work with Apex, you have to debug if something is not working, if there is any defect, you have to check the debug logs. So you have to manage your debug logs as well. Apart from this, when you're working with Apex, you definitely have to write the test classes as well. So the test management is there. So these are very basic generic things that a Salesforce developer has to do every single day. Now, to make these things faster, we do have some tools available online. For example, when I'm playing with JSON, I have to read the JSON data properly. So for that, I have to beautify it. Now to beautify my JSON, there are lots of tools. For example, this one is Code Beautify. I can just beautify my JSON here and I can read it properly. For example, the left one here is minified version and the right side one is beautified version. So lots of tools are available online. There is a code difference checker as well. I have to check different differences between the two codes or two requests here, responses here. So all these things are here, and there are some extensions as well. So Chrome extension and Firefox extension. But the thing is, as a Salesforce developer, you usually face a lot of problems. And like speaking from my experience, there are lots of problems we usually face when we need access to these tools. So these are some common issues that we actually see. The first is obviously no access to these online tools. When you are working with a client project, okay, you have to work with some secure environment as well. Also, your company policies definitely restrict you from accessing these tools. Apart from this, when you're working with a project, you have to always make sure that any confidential data that you are basically playing with should not get exposed online. So again, confidentiality, and there are security risks all there, especially when you're working in a fintech company or any financial project. It's definitely a big challenge there. Another thing is there is very less scope for automation or enhancement. Let's say I'm working on some, let's say I want to beautify a JSON here, for example, but I want it to beautify all the time. When I change the code or I just paste it, it should get copied automatically. So there are very less chances where you need to, where you can change the tools here, because these tools are hosted by some other people online there. So it's difficult for automation part there, or enhancement basically you cannot just enhance these online tools. You don't have access, you do not make it. And the last but not least is collaborative platform. You cannot, whatever the data even you are processing online, you cannot share this data with your teammates. You have to use either MS Teams or whatever, Slack, whatever the messaging platform you're using, or maybe sometimes you just have to email them. So I have colleagues who we just sent a lot of data on Teams and Outlook. So it's difficult to manage all this collaboration. So there is no platform right now to manage all this data. So let's talk about what this impact now. Now there are hundreds of companies, there are thousands of Salesforce developers out there. All these Salesforce developers definitely face these kind of issues. So this is a global scale impact and this is a social impact, because if you make sure that your Salesforce developer has all the tools, all the needs out there, okay, all the tools which are completely fulfilling his needs, he can develop applications much faster, much better and efficiently. And of course there will be very less ETA, or the lead time will be very less for your development there. So you have more time to even test your builds and make sure nothing breaks in the production. So this is what the toolkit is. So all these problems basically we have to figure out and solve. So this is why the Salesforce Developer Toolkit is there here. And this Salesforce Developer Toolkit is going to provide you all the necessary tools which you need every single day that you face problems or you want to do things faster, this toolkit is going to provide you. So again, this toolkit can be used by Salesforce developers as well as testers. I'm going to talk about testing part later as well. And this toolkit has two things. First is generic tools, just like JSON Beautify, and second will be project specific tools. So what these project specific tools are there, I'm going to explain in the video as well. So let's deep dive into the demo here. So I have a demo as well. So this is my Salesforce org right now. We have some custom objects, we have a lot of data model. Again, based on your data model of your project, you can enhance this tool as well. So this is the tool right now, and you can basically create an account here. You can just log in, you can do anything. So right now let's log in here. I already have a demo credential set for now. So this is a single page application. It's not gonna reload. It's built with Laravel, Vue.js, and Tailwind CSS for the front end UI. Again, you have very strict security here. I'm gonna talk about security as well. So this is email and password for now. I'm gonna enter. So you can always log in with SSO as well as username, email, and you can manage all this data. Again, Laravel framework has a very high security policies. The authentication is there. Without the authentication, you cannot log into this tool. Now you can see we have a dashboard here, and also we have an option here to authenticate Salesforce. So basically I can just authenticate my Salesforce here first of all. So again, to authenticate Salesforce, you need a connected app here. So I have already configured my connected app here to handle this tool here. Okay. And in my tool also, I have to mention the connected app details. For example, we have connected app client ID and client secret that we have to mention here. The callback URL, login URL also you have to mention. So all these things you just need, and that's it pretty much. I'm using client credentials flow here. So let's talk about this tool here. We have three kinds of tool. First of all, we have Salesforce specific tools here, where we are going to process our data with respect to our Salesforce org. Okay, then we have AI tools, again very interesting part right now, and we have some generic tools, for example this JSON and utility tools. And last but not least, we do have a very interesting tool for generating random data, again the testing part I was mentioning earlier. So let's go first the generic tools. We have some JSON beautifier here. As you can see, this is a simple JSON beautifier tool which is similar to most of the tools available online. But the new thing that I have added here is, let's say you have some JSON data. Right now I will do is I'll retrieve some data basically. So let's search a JSON data for now. You can see this is my minified JSON and this is my beautified JSON here. So whatever the data I'm basically changing here, you can see this is gonna beautify in real time. Apart from this, I also have a quick copy button here. Most of the time this copy button will be there in most of the tool, but the best thing that you can actually do here is you can share this data with your teammate. For example, this is my JSON minified JSON. Basically I have just pasted it. This is my new record. I can just save this, and let's say I can save Jan 2024. Happy New Year, by the way. So I'm gonna save this here, and that's it. Pretty much my record is saved here. If I search this Jan 2024, this will be here, and I can just copy this URL and I can share this with my teammates. So collaboration part solved, beautification part solved. Also you have auto copy feature here. You can minify this also. And another feature which I have added is hit API. So let's say a lot of time I personally use I personally work on integration procedures, and a lot of REST APIs I have built till now. So every single time I have to test these APIs. Now it is very difficult to just beautify a very big request and response and then basically hit this API. So I have added another feature which is hit API here. So let's say I have some gate hospital API is there. Okay, it's a REST resource, and you can see we have hospital here. So I'm gonna just copy this hospital name. So for now I'm just gonna pass my hospital name here. I have built one simple logic here. Is gonna return all the details from this REST API. So here again I can select two options. I have integration procedure or I have REST resource. So for now I'm gonna select REST resource here, and once I hit the REST resource, it's gonna give me some data. So right now it's gonna it looks like we need integration procedure here. So let's focus on so this was integration procedure, not the REST resource, my bad. So we got the details from our gate hospital. This is an integration procedure here. Again I have developed in my org here. Okay, so this is how you can hit your request directly. You can beautify your JSON and you can hit your request here. Okay, so let's talk about this was the REST API, by the way. This is, if I hit this REST API here with my request, I should get some response here. Okay, so this is how I'm gonna get the request and different responses. So all this communication is happening from my Laravel Vue.js this UI and this app to Salesforce, and from Salesforce back to this application. So again, this is a very interesting tool. We do have a schema generator and schema validator. So now if I talk about my validation part, now most of the time you have to validate your request. Okay, so how to validate request? For example, I have this schema generator. I can paste my request here, and I can generate my JSON schema here. Once I generate JSON schema, I can save this, and I can save this as let's say student validation. For now I'm gonna save this. It's gonna create a record here. Once I go to the JSON validator here, I can just type student here, let's say student validation. This was my report here. Once I click this submit button, it's gonna give me, okay, your JSON is valid, completely valid, because this is my data inside the JSON schema. But let's say for now here, this age is number or digit here. If I make this as a string, okay, it's gonna give me error. Okay, your age must be number here. So this is gonna validate all the data types that you have present. For example, this false, whatever the data type you are basically changing, or you are getting invalid data type, for example, is gonna give the error. Also, if I change this age into something else, let's say I add some random data, it's gonna mention that age is required property. So let's say this data is not really present here. Okay, I'm gonna remove all these names and everything. It's gonna tell me that, okay, your request or your JSON doesn't include this parameter, so these nodes basically, so it's not a valid JSON. So this is why this validator tool is very important, and for your APIs this is going to be very interesting tool. Another tool that we have is again JSON to Apex. The JSON to Apex is mostly useful for all the REST APIs that you are going to build. You have to use wrapper classes. So this is again interesting tool to create wrapper classes. After this, we have some formula beautifier. This is going to beautify a formula. We have comma inserter. We have difference, again code difference checker, very interesting tool. And last but not least, we do have this random data generator here. So this tool is going to generate a lot of random, as you can see, we have Apex classes, Apex code here. We do have some JSON data. So you are playing with JSON, you can generate random JSON data. You can generate your Apex code as well. So whatever you put here is going to generate random data. Again, these are highly customizable, highly configurable. You can configure, you can create any kind of data types, any kind of logic, for example, the city, state, any kind of demographics, any kind of user information. It's highly configurable. I'm using faker.js for now here. Now let's talk about the Salesforce Toolkit, so Salesforce tools, right? So again, I have added here anonymous Apex execution basically. So you can execute your Apex through developer console or even workbench. So for now, I just added one sample code here, which is going to throw me some error. So whenever you execute a code and you have to figure out what your issue is, okay, so most of the time you have to check the debug log, but here you are going to get the stack trace and everything error message right here on the UI here. And you can see I have the error message here and I have the stack trace as well. So you can also check this debug log here, by the way. Okay, again, you have different options here to figure out the layout, and you can see we have the error here as well. Apart from this, you can also select the show debug only. It's gonna show your debug as well as if there is any error. So right now there is an error here, so it's gonna show you. Apart from this, again, the AI feature that we have here, if I click this AI, it's gonna hit some API request to the AI, and you are going to see some interesting results or analysis from the AI. So right now I'm using Google Gemini AI here. So let's wait for a few minutes, and you can see we have the AI response here. So AI is going to analyze your debug log, complete debug log basically, and it's going to give you suggestions as well as analysis. So you can see it gave you a correct query. So right now the billing city was not present in my query, but I was referencing this billing city into my code. That's why I got this error. So again, very interesting tool. We do have a debug utility, by the way. So this debug utility is going to fetch all the trace flags you have, all the debug logs you have, and we have the most important feature that is highly needed is delete all. So this delete all is going to delete all the debug logs that you have. So you don't have to, click the next button or use any extensions for this one. Apart from this, you can also search. So for example, let's say I want to search any error that I'm getting through Sockle. So you can see the status here. In the status, you'll find if there is any error, you're going to find this error data here again. Apart from this, let's say right now I was using the API here. So get data by REST API. This API I hit here. So I got this data. Apart from this, if I want to search on specific user, so now there are no filters. If you use the existing Salesforce, there are no filters there. You can actually filter this also. Apart from this, definitely you can actually see your debug log here. So you have option to show debug only here. So you can see we have all the data from this debug log as well, which is going to my debug log. You can actually download this debug log, and also you can parse this debug log. And this is the next thing which I'm going to show you. But before that, we can also create trace flags. So whatever the user you're logged in, you already have all this data here present. You can change the expiration date with like 30 minutes extra. So this is again a very interesting feature I added, because I don't want to add my date or time manually. Let's say I want to add for 2 hours, I can just change it. I can hit submit button. It's going to select the finest debug log level right here. You don't have to select anything. You just have to click submit button. But let's say you don't even want to do that. Okay, you can just click this one click trace flag button here, and if you click this, okay, it's going to create a trace flag for your logged in user. Also, you can delete all these trace flags later as well. It's a highly customizable. You can customize all these tools as per your need basically. So if I go here right now, I can just parse this. Let's say I want to parse this debug log. I can click this parse debug log button here. It's going to take some time, okay, because it has to face all the data here. So now we can see we have all the debugs here. And let's say I want to search something. Let's say I want to search this Jagdish, for example. Okay, so you can see I have my name Jagdish, and my name is Rohit Kumar, by the way, but the name here is Jagdish, and I just wanted to search it, so I can search it. Okay, let's say I want to figure out what is my socle here. Okay, so I can just hit this submit button. I can, what are the socles I have in my code right now that is getting executed, I can see all the socles as well. So all these action types are here, very important. Let's say I want to figure out variable assignments. You can see variable assignment as well. Apart from this, let's say I just want to figure out what is my user debug. I can find my user debug here also. So very important tool for when you're playing with the debug logs. And we do have the taste class coverage I was going to explain. So very important tool again. So most of the time we have to figure out what is the test coverage I have for this specific class, and what are the test classes I have. So usually you have to figure out all these details through developer console most of the time. So here with this toolkit is going to provide you all the test classes that are present in your org. And the best part is you don't even have to open the test class if you want to execute it. You can just execute the test class from right here. You can run all the tests here. Not just this thing, but the best part about it is, let's say for example I have this account manager here, and I can open this account manager. Okay, so what are the test classes are associated with my account manager? I can see all the classes. For example, these are the 2 classes. Okay, and you can show whatever information you want. Apart from this, you can individually run these test classes, as well as you can run all these test classes. So you can start your test class execution right here with just clicks. You don't have to open the classes. You don't have to click the run test button there. So it's very fast. It's gonna help you to save a lot of time. And let's say I want to also see what is my test coverage here. So you can click this button, and you can see we have a page here which is going to display all the available all the covered lines basically. Okay, again you have option here to run test within just one click. You have view test class. Again, if I click this view test class, it's gonna show me all the associated test classes with this, and it's gonna load. So again, the UI optimization we can do later, but for now it's gonna help you to do this. And I'm gonna add again another feature to edit and modify the code on the go as well. Apart from this, we do have ask AI feature, very interesting feature. So if I click this button, it's gonna take some time, and it's gonna give you the output for this main class, and it's gonna write the test class there as well. And last but not least, we do have all these features here. Let's first check. Okay, we have this data written from the AI. So this is the AI generated test class. Again, it's not going to be 100% perfect, but you know what, it's gonna be enough for you to get a job done. So you can at least write, you can use this as a pseudo code also, and then you can modify this also. So we do have another option here to see which method is covering what line of code. Again, this is the existing feature in developer console, but most of the time you know what developer console behaves, how it behaves. So this is much faster, better, and again you have tons of enhancement options here to do this. And last but not least, we do have AI option here. So I'm using right now Google Gemini AI as a my AI companion here, and you can actually store all the prompts, everything. You can store this into your database. You can retrieve these forms of different specific scenarios you have. You can actually use this AI to handle your scenarios. So let's do one thing. Let's talk about some LWC right now. Okay, so we do have this this image here, and this is a search product feature for your LWC. I want to build a LWC component. what I'm going to do, I'm going to write a prompt here. So this is the existing prompt here, and I'm going to click submit. Now it's going to take few seconds here to retrieve the data from the API. So right now this AI is basically analyzing our image here, and it's going to analyze the prompt, whatever we have asked here. Okay, and based on that, you can see we have the responses. So we have HTML code right now, JavaScript code, and Apex code, and some short explanation as well. So this is what this AI is going to help you with. You can basically ask anything you want to write, generate, you want to write Apex code, LWC. Again, I'm very interested in future scope. Basically, we do have Salesforce Einstein GPT for developers. Maybe if you can implement that here, that will be great help here. So pretty much guys, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed, and thank you so much for watching.